Testing, testing.
Live.
Jump up, feet on a table. 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 Jump up, feet on a table.
And welcome back to Kings of Influence. I am one half of your hosting team, Ray William Johnson.
I'm Epic Lloyd on the other half here. Joining us today is Luna the Moon Dog. She is our mascot in the back office where we bring you Kings of Influence every Wednesday at noon. It's the podcast where Ray and I talk about whatever's going on in our lives during the course of the week and then chime in with you. If you'd like to get a text from us letting you know when we're about to go live, you can do that by texting the word Kings to the number 0304. What the hell is that number?
43506.
43506. That's the word Kings to the number 43506, and you'll get one text real quick when we're about to go live, just because we know sometimes it's hard to get in touch, and we want to get in touch with you.
Yeah. So what's going on with you this week?
Had a great week. Had a big work week. Did a new had an Epic Rap Battle History shoot over the weekend, which is always exciting but taxing and good. So that's always fun. Outside of that, I took the day off on Monday, which was good. Just chilled out.
Just a day off.
Had a good dinner with my wife. We went to the beach. Sometimes you just got to do that, Like for me, I just have to have a day where I don't have anything on the books, and that kind of resets my energy level for at least one day. I could go about 2 or 3 weeks working every day, but every chunk I got to get some sort of a break. So it was great. It was really good.
Yeah, I don't know what these days off things that you're talking about are.
That's that grind in you.
So what are you doing on these days? What do you mean nothing?
Nothing. Well, we did stuff. We went to dinner, and we went to a Mexican restaurant. I know you and Kelly like Mexican restaurants.
I do.
We went to a really nice one on the beach. They had excellent. They had a salsa taster plate where you like you get like a beer tasting flight or like a wine tasting flight. It was a salsa tasting flight. So this is some yuppie ass shit I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, for real.
But it was you got like 5 different types of salsas, and then you just got to choose, and it was fun.
Yeah, like good. Actual Mexicans are listening right now going, yeah, we don't have that. That's not
That's
a thing.
not a thing.
You get one kind. You get one kind, buddy.
Whatever's on the truck, man.
Well, did you there's this news going around that I don't really care about, but I wanted to talk about it. Did you hear about this Taylor Swift thing?
Her new song and the backlash.
No,
or is that a different Taylor Swift?
Is that a different Taylor Swift thing?
There was some amount of backlash over Taylor Swift's new song, which was, supposedly very pro pride.
Yeah.
But the LGBTQ community was sort of a little miffed over the fact that it was like it's sort of this faux representation of an ally and using pride as like a marketing ploy to drop a single, and then but like I don't know.
Yeah, you take pride and you make it all about you.
Yeah.
I see their point.
Yeah.
I see their point.
But Hannah Hart was in her video, so that kind of forgives it for me because I love her.
Well, so no, I wasn't talking about that, although like I said, I see where the LGBTQ community could get kind of annoyed. Like, if it's going to be about pride, make it about pride. Don't make it about you.
Yeah, it's not really your thing.
Right.
Like, I get we were friends. That's awesome. But, like, it's sort of like making it a marketing thing. Well, but I think they're kind of wrong about that. That's kind of like, you're imploding on yourself when you do that. Like, what good are you doing by just spreading that kind of negativity about a song that's supposed to be in a good spirit? They're like, well, maybe donate all that money to some shelter or something, but
I don't know, maybe asking her to do a better job.
You mean with the actual song?
Well, with the actual whatever they were criticizing, if it was a song or if it was the video, maybe they were saying like, "Look, we appreciate this, but this isn't about you. This is about pride. So if you're gonna do it about pride."
Yeah, could have been.
Um, I don't. But anyway, the story that I heard that I'd read about, it's got a lot of details and it's convoluted, and I don't want to explain the whole thing. But basically, she left her old record label like years ago, and they still own her old masters, right? And so Justin Bieber's manager recently bought that record label, and in buying that record label, he bought her masters. And so Taylor Swift gets upset because she wants to own the masters, and she writes like this Tumblr post, and it makes her out to be a victim, and that these people are bullying her, and that Justin Bieber's manager Scooter Braun is like he's trying to bully her, and that he hates her and all this other shit. And the whole thing made her. I mean, the whole thing is very Taylor Swift. The whole thing is very like, I'm the richest victim in the world. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I do nothing bad, and all these men are so bad. And she like had this whole sexism angle to it too that it just had no place in it. And Bieber jumped in, and then some other celebrities jumped in, and it's this whole like Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr fight between celebrities picking sides, and all of it's stupid and immature. And
That's how the music industry works, Taylor. Like,
yeah,
like talk to Paul McCartney and talk to Michael Jackson and talk to all these people who, well, don't talk to Michael Jackson. That might be dangerous. But your masters got sold. Just make more music.
Well, they owned her masters. They did that deal when she was nobody and they were a record label. And I'm not saying all record label deals are fair, because I'm sure, especially the further back you go, they get pretty bad.
Not good.
But they were investing in you when you had zero leverage. And if they're not going to own the masters, then there's no point in a label existing, much less even investing in an artist, because that's how the label makes money.
Sure.
That's why that label is worth anything, is because they own Taylor Swift's old masters.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if she wants to buy them, because I think she wanted to buy them back, and they were like, and I'm paraphrasing, but look, we're not just going to sell you the masters. We're selling the entire record label. So if you need to outbid the other people trying to buy the record label.
This isn't a fire sale here. It's tough because when you're thinking about music, it's tough to think about yourself as a property.
Yes.
Because all of those songs, and you lose, because money doesn't equal, in a lot of people's minds, and I've been in that situation, it doesn't equal a fair share of the work. Someone has a shit ton of money and they go, for this amount of money, I get the same amount as you get, but you put in all this time and emotion and energy, and I just put in this stack of cash that I already had. And it doesn't equal the same amount of ownership, I think, especially when you're talking about stuff that could be very personal. So I understand that. I understand that. But that's just the business that you're in. And I guess what she maybe forgets is they already put all that time and energy to get that money a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the benefit that they get from doing that work. When you have the ability to do that in 20 years from now, it's because you front loaded all your work and sweat equity now. It's just hard to separate that from.
Yeah. One is sort of an emotional investment, and the other is a monetary investment. And they both claim to have equal footing.
Yeah.
And neither would exist without the other one. But I totally understand putting in your emotions and your heart and soul into your work and not owning the masters.
Ugh.
I get it. It sucks. But at the same time, if you're buying Walmart stock or something, you're not like, well, I'm going to put my heart and soul in. No, you're like, I'm putting my money in, and I want to get more money back than when I put in. I don't care whose emotions are involved. I mean, it sucks if people are upset over whatever this, people are upset at Walmart, but like at the end of the day, I put in $100 because I want $110 back.
Yeah.
And if emotions are going to cause a problem, then I'm going to go invest in something else. That's sort of the hard-ass business way to look at it.
Yeah, and it's different when you're talking about like supersized bags of Fritos and like baby pools and stuff that you sell at Walmart, and then
Yeah.
songs about your heartbreak, and so like a song that you wrote in a moment of absolute helplessness that then someone just treats as another box of Frosted Flakes on the shelf. It's
Yeah,
like,
I
oh,
mean,
really rough.
yes and no. I'm not going to say that she's not an artist and all that, but she's also a pop star. She's
Yeah.
also creating a product, and she very much knows that she's creating a product. She's not like, I'm going to create this thing that's so offbeat that only a few artists will ever even understand it. No, she's creating pop for the masses
Yeah. And then, but why is Justin Bieber getting involved?
because that's his manager, and he's sticking up for his manager. And Justin Bieber had a point. He's
What
like,
did he
why didn't
tweet?
you just why don't you just reach out and call? Why are you suddenly going
Oh.
on Tumblr and making all these claims when
she never even reached out?
yeah, like like that's what they're claiming. Like she just went straight to the internet to get everyone on her side, and everyone's like, why didn't you? This could have been probably could have been worked out. Like maybe you wouldn't get your masters back because these are worth millions of dollars. No one's going to hand them over.
Yeah. Let's have a freaking phone conversation though before you dial up the world.
Yeah.
Why? But why didn't he? But the same question is, why didn't he just call her?
Who,
Like,
Bieber or
Yeah, like instead of then retweeting that or tweeting that out,
that I don't
why
know.
wouldn't he just call her up and be like, "Hey, cut it out"?
Because she started it.
No,
Yeah,
no, you tweeted it.
I don't know. Probably because like once it goes public, then you gotta like
Yeah,
you feel like you have to go public to defend yourself, and it's all very childish to me. In fact, the most mature thing said in any of it, and there's a lot of posts about it, because people keep jumping in. But one of the most mature things said was like, you know, going public isn't going to solve this, but a phone call would.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
But going public makes you stay famous longer.
And she has a new album coming out.
Yeah.
Like in a few weeks. So
I mean, I was just watching this thing about, like, I like UFC and stuff like that, and they were talking about the value of a rivalry or the value of bad blood between people, and they were just doing all these stats where they talk about here's a match between literally the number 1 and the number 2 guy in the middleweight division. Like, they're the most explosive, the most dynamic, the most skilled fighters. They should be fighting. And the pay-per-view numbers super middle of the road. Then you have like that one of those same guys fighting someone who's should not be fighting him, but they freaking hate each other and they publicly hate each other and they badmouth each other and they just create the show, and the pay-per-view numbers are through the roof.
yeah.
Like McGregor and Mayweather. That was like everybody knew what was going to happen at the end of that fight. It was actually pretty surprising, but the numbers were through the roof because they just made a show out of it. And I think everybody involved knows how to make a show out of it.
Yeah.
Same with Logan Paul and KSI. I think she tweets things like that because it's part of the game.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a coincidence that she has an album coming out like in a few weeks, and her last album she was creating controversy, and I forget what the beef was there, and then the one before that it was the same thing.
Yeah.
Like she's always trying to make some kind of headline, which on some level is really smart, and on another level is like,
yeah,
I guess that's the game these days. I guess Kanye does the same thing.
Yeah. So just remember, if I come in one week and I'm super aggressive toward you and I start a beef, I most likely have an album coming out.
Well, exactly. Well, here's the thing: if the other party is in on it, then I think it's fair game. Maybe you're setting a bad example for kids. I don't know, but maybe you don't give a shit about that. I'm talking about like beefing online and stuff. If
Yeah.
you're both in on it and it's a game,
It's
I don't
WWE.
care.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's WWE. But if you have, I kind of find it problematic if you have a really young audience because they think it's real. But regardless, like that's fine. But what I have a problem with is if like she is causing it just to sell albums and the other person's not in on it, and the other person's like, "You're making me look terrible just so you can sell albums, and I didn't even do anything."
Right. Why are you doing this, Taylor Swift? You're normally such a non-drama person.
Right.
This never happens to you, Taylor.
I never.
I don't think I can name 4 Taylor Swift songs. I don't think I can name 2 Taylor Swift songs.
I don't think you should try. I don't think they're aimed at you.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think you're a couple of decades too old and way too male.
I'm not the target market, as they would say in Lowell, Mass.
Yeah.
I'm not the target market.
Right. And neither are most people on the planet because most people aren't teenage girls. But
Teenage girls.
everyone is the target market for drama.
Drama. Drama, drama, drama.
And everyone pays attention. And now all these other celebrities are jumping in,
they all
trying to
want a
take
piece.
sides because they all want a piece of the drama. Like they all want the headline to be on them. It's stupid.
If we were to have a beef between us, what would it be? Like, what could we actually sell? It would have to be something about the podcast.
It would have to be.
Would it be like something that would exist that we could actually still need to do the podcast?
Yeah. It's a contract dispute, but we're contractually obligated to continue to do the podcast. So we just
Right.
hate each other the whole time.
Right. We make some deal with a production company to like fund this podcast.
Yeah.
And some sort of contract deal happens where one of us isn't pulling the right amount of weight, or somebody's getting a
Yeah.
bigger cut than the other person, but we're both contractually obligated to continue doing the podcast.
Or the company sues us. If
Or the-
one of us pulls out, the company sues both of us.
Both
so we
of
have
us.
to be here. That's a sitcom.
Pod fast? No. Pod last. I'll come up with it.
Oh
we'll
my
come
God.
up with it.
Podfast.
Pod fast is just we get really skinny and we never eat
Oh,
on the
okay.
podcast.
I thought you were trying to name like a sitcom sort of podcast.
Oh.
Podfeld or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah. Or the name of the podcast about our beef about the podcast.
Yes.
So meta.
It's a podcast about nothing. Actually, it's about beef.
Oh.
So, all right. Enough about the weird Taylor Swift drama that I didn't even describe all that well because there's too many details and it's stupid. I think the point I wanted to make was that I don't think it's a coincidence that she's got an album coming out.
Not
And
at
she's,
all.
yeah.
Not at all.
And
They're playing it up.
Your point is well taken. Like Taylor Swift and drama? Who would have thought
Yeah.
that she would have beef with someone publicly?
I wonder if it's a calculated internal effort from her to knowingly pull the strings of the industry, or if that's just the type of person she is and all the industry people around her understand and know how to take advantage of it. I bet there's a combination of both of those things in Hollywood for sure.
Yeah, I bet she has a conversation with her PR people before she writes a long Tumblr post.
But I'm saying
and probably a lawyer too.
But I'm saying I bet you there are both those things. I bet you in Hollywood there are those people who they're just crackpots and they do stuff impulsively and their whole team just knows how to work it. And they just, like a Steve-O went back in the day of Jackass, or it's just some loose handle. But I bet you then there are other people who know how to work the system. And I would bet she's one of those people who does it on purpose and does run it by her PR company and goes, okay, what's the calculated amount of collateral damage here?
Right.
What's the calculated amount of good press equaling bad press? What's the they pay to get on TMZ now.
Yeah. That's all fake, by the way.
FYI world.
Yeah.
All of you guys out there who are listening, people pay to be on TMZ. So when they get ambushed at the airport, they want that to happen because that's good press.
I've had both. I've been ambushed by TMZ, and then I've been asked, "Hey, do you mind if we make it look like we ambush you? Here's the questions
Wow.
that we could ask, and it could make you." And I said no.
When were you ambushed?
Oh, this would have been years ago.
About the maker thing?
No. Ambushed as in I'm leaving somewhere and someone puts a camera in your face.
Right.
That's actually happened to me twice. And then another time I was asked if I was asked beforehand, "Do you want us?" And I was like, "No, I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm that's fine. I don't need that." But yeah, I can imagine. I had another friend who did the fake thing with TMZ. I won't say who because you might know him.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Did the fake TMZ thing, and it made him look really good.
Did it?
Well, it made him look sharp and quick, and it was like, yeah, because you knew what they were gonna use.
Right. Wow, he thinks on his feet so well.
Yeah,
So impressive. Wow, that's craziness.
it was a I don't want to give it away, but it was a performance. They were like, "Hey, could you do a little performance?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." and did this like amazing thing, and it's like, yeah, because you practiced, you saw it coming.
Damn,
It was
good
funny.
for him.
Yeah, it was
Her
funny.
slash it.
That's the hustle. Anyway, listen to this. It's enough about Taylor Swift and Hollywood being bullshit. So Twitter, they started putting warning labels on tweets by politicians and public figures, mostly politicians, when they violate Twitter's rules. Right now, normally, if you tweet something that violates Twitter's rules, Twitter will take it down, or they'll give you a strike or whatever. But when politicians do it, like Trump is the big example that everyone likes to use, they don't take it down, and they don't do any of that
Like
stuff.
slander or like, bullying language, or what kind of rules are we talking about?
All of that.
Yeah.
All of that. And so they don't take it down because they feel like it's, according to them, like it's newsworthy. Because it's a public figure, and they don't want to take down like a public representative, and they don't want to take down a public representative's stuff, even if it breaks their rules. Now, they've gotten a lot of backlash for this because people are like, well, so the rules don't apply to Trump and some of these other people, but they apply to us. So what Twitter's now doing is they're putting warning labels. They're hiding the tweet until you click on it. So if Trump or one of these other guys tweets something that violates their rules, the tweet is hidden until you click on it. Right. And when you click on it, it has a warning label.
Wow. It's almost like those ultra. I subscribe to this Instagram thing called Nature is Metal, and it's just like animals ripping each other apart and eating each other, which is kind of graphic but natural. But like there's warnings on that where they hide those images and you have to click on it to open it to see it. So it's kind of like that, except for words.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're like finally taking action. I think people are glad, but at the same time, their stock fell today.
Of course. I mean, Trump, that's going to piss those people off, the people that make their living off of shock tactics and retweets and emotional typing and stuff. Like, that's going to be detrimental. That'll cut into the effectiveness of their tweets.
Well, yeah, and that's if there's any glue holding Twitter together right now, it's not influencers, and it's not writers, and it's not comedians. It's people fighting, specifically politicians fighting.
Yeah. And
Trump and all that. So when they start censoring these guys, for better or for worse, it's going to make the value of their company go down. Because it's their company's whole value.
Well, can you give me an example of the type of a tweet that has been getting censored at all? Like,
I don't have any in front of me.
I wonder what the level of sensitivity is.
That I don't know, but definitely attacks and like attacks, adding someone and attacking them, like directly attacking them.
Like Rosie O'Donnell is terrible and fat, and she's just a monster.
I don't know if that would get.
Remember he had that feud with Rosie O'Donnell?
Yeah.
It was just stupid.
I don't know if like the fat shaming would get him, get his stuff removed or taken down or whatever, or get the warning rather. I don't know where the line is.
Yeah,
really.
And it's just,
but if you imply that like Muslims are terrorists, that'll get the warning.
Yeah, or something about the borders, or refugees, or people that are trying to become citizens in the country, or something about that. And then what about normal people? What happens when a normal person does that? It just gets deleted?
Yeah, they get deleted and they get like a strike on their account.
Wow. That's bullshit. That should totally apply to politicians as well.
I know it should, but they
should totally apply to them.
But that's the thing. It's a bad business move if they don't let Trump do his thing, because he's like their whole platform now.
I know, the president. It's the president. And Twitter is like a social media company that's probably out of Silicon Valley, which is like all liberal people. That's what makes me so crazy about like the far left, is that they're such hypocrites.
Yeah.
They're such hypocrites. They bitch and moan about all these things. But when it really comes down to it, they're not going to like take him off Twitter. If the Silicon people were that big into freedom of speech and immigration and all these things, they would close his account. Shut it down. They're a private company. They could shut it down right now. You know what I mean? They could totally shut it down. If they were so big, if Hollywood was so against guns and so against the NRA and so against gun violence, they would never show another gun in movies again. Never make it like John Wick. Are you kidding me?
So here's the problem. So you've got like people who work at Twitter, Silicon Valley, and these guys, far left or not. So you got people who work at Twitter, and then you've got investors. So investors
By the way,
are
most of it not far left.
probably not far left. They're from all over the place. They're people with money. They're the guy that's like, I have $100 and I'm going to give it to you, and I want $110 back.
And I don't give a crap.
Is censoring the president going to get me my $110? Then don't censor the fucking president.
Yeah.
I don't care. That's the way investors work. And I understand it to a degree. Like if you invest in something, if it's a lot of money, I mean, and I'm using $100, like we're talking millions of dollars.
Yeah,
hundreds of millions of dollars sometimes. If you put in $10 million into Twitter, and they're like, okay, you're going to lose some of your $10 million if we start removing the president's tweets. And you go, then don't remove the president's tweets.
Right, but you don't have that choice as a stockholder. You don't get to make decisions day to day. That's kind of the way it is. And also, if you have $10 million to invest, you should investigate the company that you're investing in and find out what their stances on things are.
Yeah.
Their moral
But it's a collective. It's not like one guy investing. It's a collective of a lot of people, and a lot of people going, there's a board and they vote and all this stuff, and even the CEO is beholden to his shareholders. You see what I'm saying? And he's like, well, I don't want to piss these people off. So,
sure.
Or he'll get fired. It's kind of a shitty system when you think about it. But it's not designed to be ethical. It's designed to make these people money.
Yeah, it's capitalism.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
And that's fine. And to admit that that's what it is fine. I just get upset when you bitch and moan until it actually affects you, and then you look the other way.
Yeah, that's true.
And then it's like, oh, well, no, not those potatoes. Don't,
Yeah.
not those free-range chickens. Those ones, that drives me nuts. If you were that into it, then take them off of there, but you won't. That's the thing. So I don't know. It just makes me upset. Of like, yeah, it should be the politicians also that get censored like that and deleted like that.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're not doing that means they don't really give a shit at all. Because if they did, if they really were concerned about it being about people's health or the health of society because they don't want to see these things, then it would be everybody.
That's true. Well, and to me, what they're doing with putting these Twitter warnings on and stuff, it feels like they're trying to compromise.
It feels like they're trying to show good face.
Right. Exactly. Like they're trying to say, look, we understand that politicians tweet really mean and shitty things, but we don't want to take them down because there's a lot of value in it for us. So we're just going to put a warning label on it. Same thing with porn and some of this other stuff.
I mean, I get it. I get that. And it is like in the middle. Like, I guess I can play both sides of the fence because the other side is like, yeah, numbnuts, that's business.
Right.
Like, what do you want from us? We're going to go out of business if this doesn't happen. It's like, I get that too.
That's capitalism.
I get that too. I just wish somebody would say that. I just wish they would come out and say that. Like, yeah, we'd go out of business. So we're going to do whatever we want. So go eat a dick, like, and if you want to put a beep over my comment that I just said, great. But sorry, that's what happens to happen. Just say what it is. That, I think, is why Trump won. Because he just said how things were. He just was willing to say the thing that you're like, everybody's thinking this, but no one will say it because they won't get support or whatever. And he just did. And then all of a sudden we found out people liked that. And they were all thinking that anyway.
Yeah, it's a mix of like, saying what he really believes, saying it like it is, saying things that a lot of people think. And then there's this whole other side that's just that he's full of shit.
And he's just
right.
chumming the water.
Right, yeah. It's like there's like a mix of it.
Yeah.
Because you've got these two camps where people feel like, well, Trump is full of shit. He has all these lies, and we've documented all these lies, and you'll watch videotape of him doing a thing, and he'll say he didn't do the thing, and all that's true. And then there's this other side that says, no, Trump tells it like it is. He doesn't hold back. He's brutally honest and all that. And those two things don't really coincide.
Yeah. I think if you just run your mouth 100% of the time, you're going to be right sometimes. It's like a clock is even a stopped clock is right.
A broken clock. Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's his thing. He's just full on talking all the time. And then he'll say stuff that you're like, hell yeah. And then you'll say stuff you're like, you just flat out lied. We have video of you saying this.
Yeah. And nuts. He represents a certain section of the population really well. which
Yeah.
is like that's him throwing red meat to his base.
Yeah.
So he represents them. So no matter what he says, they're going to project their own feelings
Yeah.
onto what he says. Like,
Sure.
no, I mean, you hear people take, like the Taylor Swift thing we were talking about. You hear Taylor Swift fans be like, no, okay, see, but what she really meant was
Right.
this. Like they're trying to rationalize it. They're projecting their own thing onto it. And his supporters do the same thing to him. I mean, and I'm sure other politicians get the same thing. People who support you will bend over backwards to make it seem like you did something right.
Yeah, they see what they want to see.
Yeah.
I wonder what the relationship is between Twitter and Donald Trump. I mean, they have to have had conversations. Who owns Twitter?
Jack Dorsey.
It's just
I think that's his
one
name.
guy, Jack Dorsey.
No, I mean, I'm sure they have shareholders.
I mean, it's not like
I think they're a
Facebook,
public company.
It's not somebody else. It's its own thing.
Yeah, it's its own thing. Yes. Have they had conversations with Trump? I don't know. I'm sure they've had internal conversations of like, how do we keep this maniac on the platform so that our value can continue to.
They have to have. I mean, you and me both had conversations with YouTube, and we're not even that big.
Yeah.
Compared to the president, he had, or at least his team has to have a direct line. Like, imagine the shit they've deleted. Imagine the shit he's tweeted out, and they're like, Mr. President.
You gotta take that. Or right, or
they
the
just
stuff.
hat in their hand, a little intern knocks on the door, like, so sorry.
Right.
I'm Greg from Twitter. That swastika tweet you just put out, yeah, we needed to delete that.
Listen, there are very fine Nazis on both sides.
Yeah. I guess I have to disagree with you. So sorry again, Mr. President. Greg from Twitter.
Wow.
Oh man, you can tell it's summer because it's getting hot back here.
It's getting hot.
It's
Sweating.
getting hot back here, guys.
Sweating like
You know what?
crazy.
I can't turn this fan on.
Why don't you turn the fan on, bro? And I will get us set up for.
Stoner
Because I think it's
Thoughts.
about that time.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys, you know what time it is. Stoner Thoughts. These are basically shower thoughts, things we find on the internet, and we read them and react to them. You can play along at home by, I don't know, reading and reacting yourself.
There you go. Oh,
Hey.
that fan is so nice.
That fan's real nice. Nice and breezy back here. Here we go.
Stoner Thoughts.
People will put more effort into avoiding a task than actually doing it.
Whoa.
Wow. Yes.
I do that sometimes. I think sometimes people say that they have anxiety, and I feel like I might have anxiety, and I just called it something else my whole life. Like
Yeah.
I'll need to make a run to the post office, and I'll think about it for 3 days. I just don't
Yeah.
go do things very often like that.
Run to
And
the post office?
Yeah, it'll just be on my mind. It doesn't like freeze me up or anything. It just like I just think about it. It's just very weird how that like it just will occupy a little tiny room in my brain, and I'll have to like force my like you got to go do this now or else you won't do it. It's so weird. I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller.
Oh, with the fan?
It was being loud.
That
you
was
guys.
oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I think the putting more effort into not doing something than doing it is pretty common. I'm not like that.
Yeah, you're not like that.
I'm
at
not
all.
like that at all. I get no enjoyment out of that, but I see other people who live and die by that, and it's like odd to me.
Oh yeah. I don't put it off because I don't want to do it. I just think about it until I get it done. Maybe I'm doing something else, or maybe like it might be like the cell phone culture inside of me where like there's always like you could be in the middle of the most intense conversation and then sort of unconsciously just flip open Facebook and check it. You know?
Yeah.
It'll just be like one of those little thoughts in your mind that occupies your brain that's like you got laundry to do, man. You got to do this laundry. You got to do your laundry. And you're like, I can't do it right now. Why am I even thinking about this? It's impossible for me to do this right now. I'm on a plane. But yeah. And then some people be like, now I need drugs because that's anxiety. I think it might just be annoying.
I need to drink
Yeah.
because my laundry's not done.
Oh God.
Stoner Thoughts.
We're all pretty lucky that roaches, spiders, and other creepy crawlies don't understand how creepy we find them. Imagine if spiders knew how much better they could protect themselves by jumping at your face.
Whoa. That's
No,
so
thank
true.
you.
Dude, I'm not freaked out by spiders at all. I like spiders.
What if one jumps at your face?
Welcome him onto my face.
Yeah, just a hug.
Just a big old
Just a
face
big hug.
Just a big smooch.
I'm not frightened by spiders either. I don't want them crawling on me though, and I certainly don't want them jumping at my face.
Yeah. A face jumper?
Yeah.
This is oi, mate.
Yeah, I might scream like a little biatch if one
Look at this beauty. It's a Mexican face jumper.
Have you ever done the thing where you like run into the spider web outside and you're like
Oh yeah. It's almost the same as when someone puts saran wrap in a door. You're like, I had a whole batch of baby spiders get released in here one time, and it was like the middle of the night. I'm like, what are all these things? And I turned the light on. I just had like baby spiders crawling all over me.
oh god.
And it wasn't. I just like pictured that Charlotte's Web movie, and they were all like really nice, cute baby spiders. And then I just kind of went outside and took as many of them off me as I could.
You came back in and there was like a spider web that just said some pig in it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
am I the pig?
Some dude. Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Hello.
We got a laptop down. Everybody freeze.
Laptop down.
Everybody
get that in a second.
be calm.
Make sure it didn't break.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no, we're good. I'll get that in a
Okay.
second.
Whoa.
Stoner thoughts.
You have been that attractive stranger that someone is too nervous to talk to.
Oh.
I know. I like to believe I'm that every day.
That's so sweet.
I'm just so nervous to talk to you.
I would love that. I don't think that's true.
You don't think that's true?
Maybe once or twice. I think maybe like fans have been that way. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like I think I've seen people that I'm a big fan of out in the street several times. Not the same person, but several times it's happened to me. And almost 0% of the time do I ever walk up to them and say, "Hey man, I'm a big fan." I don't ever do that. So I imagine maybe there's some people out there who have had that situation with me because of rap battles or something, but it's nice to think of at least. I don't think it's an attractive thing though. It's not like a, "Hey, I want to do you." It's probably more like a, "Hey, I like your videos."
There could be someone who wants to do you and just too nervous to talk to you.
Well, let's hope.
I like to believe that.
Yeah.
It helps my self-esteem, gives me a little boost.
Yeah.
Stoner thoughts.
The night before a day off is more satisfying than the actual day off.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very true.
100%.
It's like I get to sleep in, even though sleeping in for me isn't really. It's like, oh, I get to sleep until 9 or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, just the lack of, for lack of a better word, anxiety before, like, oh, I don't have to think about what I need to do.
Yeah. That literally just happened to me the other day. Like, we shot on Sunday and I had Monday off, but I didn't get home on Sunday until like midnight and at like 12:30. So I just stayed up till 4 a.m. because I was like, this is the window that I get of the night off before the day off. And I just sat on the couch, but I was like, I'm going to enjoy the hell out of this.
Yeah.
And it's so true. The next day, I was thinking, well, I have today off, but I have to work tomorrow. So,
Yeah.
Not that
Anytime I have to work the next day, it's not as enjoyable.
yeah.
The
Not
night
that I hate my
before.
job or anything. It's not a tough job, but it's just, again, something that occupies your brain.
Yes. It's like it's like a worry about deadlines. Okay, I got to do this, I got to finish that, and I got to do my laundry and all that. And when there's no worry for that it'd be nice when I retire if that ever happens.
Yeah. How do we even retire? We just get we try to get as much mailbox money as we possibly can and then manage it in a way that you're essentially just writing yourself a check every month.
Well, your body might decide for you.
Oh, God.
Your body might be like, you're 75 now. This is not going to happen.
I think I have to get life insurance.
Decrepit rap battles of history.
Decrepit.
You're like super old.
Just all very old people.
Right.
Morla from the Neverending Story versus Jabba the Hutt.
Oh. I would think it'd funny if like if you were both super old, but every character you played was young and just not believable at all. Like just some like child actors and the kid from Stranger Things versus
the Little Prince.
and
Both played by
old
me
men.
and
Yeah,
super old.
that'd be amazing.
That would be pretty funny.
Stoner thoughts.
When I say the other day, it can be any time between yesterday and my birth.
Yeah. Long window there.
Yeah, I say the other day all the time. Oh, just the other day.
Yeah.
And that there's no timestamp on that ever.
Giant. It was the whole, like the other year, the other month. Also, that reminds me, I don't know if these are connected thoughts, but we should just introduce the word "nother" into the dictionary. Like, that's a whole nother story.
A whole nother.
A whole
not?
nother story.
Why not?
That is totally, I believe that if you say a word and you understand what I said and meant by it, and I knew what I was trying to say when I said it, then it is a word.
Yeah. Sometimes words are just slang.
Yeah. Like somebody be like, that's not a word. Or
Right.
like correct your grammar. Like, blow me. That we both understood what just happened there. You can go have a whole nother friend.
Ah!
Stoner Thoughts.
Spider-Man is Peter Parkour.
Totally, dude.
I just thought that was
Hardcore
funny.
parkour. Yeah, that's awesome.
Peter Parkour.
Peter Parkour. That's definitely a joke for the rap battles if we ever
Yeah,
used to Spider-Man.
It's like almost like a clever dad joke.
Yeah.
I love it.
Peter Parkour. That new Spider-Man movie's out. How are you going to bring out another Spider-Man movie? They just had Into the Spider-Verse, and that was like the best superhero movie ever.
Into Spider-Verse is great. It's on Netflix now, by
I
the way, if you want to watch it
know.
again.
I think I watched it a second time, and it wasn't quite as good as the first time, but I think just because I wasn't totally... First of all, I wasn't in the theater. I think I saw it. I think we rented it or something.
Okay.
And it was just so stunning the first time.
Yeah.
That it was almost impossible for it to live up to that. But I will definitely watch that a third time. But why are they making another Spider-Man movie now? It doesn't...
It's
It's-
two different tracks, man. I
I
think
know, it just seems like
Spider-Verse was
overkill.
Marvel and Sony. I don't know. I'm going to get that wrong because it's not in front
I
of
think
me.
it was the last of the DC.
Not DC.
It was some company that hasn't done a good movie in a while.
I think it was Sony. I think it was the last of Sony, or was it Fox? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I think you're right about that. And so they're on two different tracks because they're two different companies. But I like Spider-Man Homecoming. So I like both Spider-Man movies.
Spider-Man home why can't they get a guy who's not British to play one of our god dang superheroes?
You don't like the guy?
I don't care. Like, he's British. He's British. The Superman was British. The freaking Batman was British, the good one. Spider-Man is British. Come on.
At least
What is
Captain
it?
America's not British because that might be too
That
far.
would be, and you know what? They would totally do it. They would completely do it. Like, they would make Rocky British if they needed to. What is it with these British people? You're stealing all our people.
Their acting training is superior to the acting training in America.
Like, they do our accent better than we do our accent.
Yeah.
How is that possible? Is it because the language originated with them and then they have more control?
No, because they train from when they're young. You decide,
And they hear us talking in movies
look,
every single.
So what my buddy
day.
told me, he said, if you want to be an actor in LA, you're just like, I'm an actor. And boom, you're an actor. You can call yourself an actor. Maybe you'll get work, maybe you won't. Maybe you can act in your friends' videos or whatever. But you just call yourself an actor because that's our mentality. Yeah, if you want to do the thing, just say that you're the thing and then go do it. And he said there in the conservatories and stuff, if you go, I'm an actor, they'll go, cool, where'd you study?
Right.
And if you're like, well, I haven't really studied, and they're like, well, then you're not a fucking actor. Like, it's like he likened it to calling yourself, like, you can't just call yourself a doctor. It's like, yeah, where'd you get your PhD?
Yeah.
There you can't just call yourself an actor. You have to have studied. And so their conservatories are like our college. Like, you'll go to 4 years or
Yeah.
however many years.
And they teach you how to talk like us?
just doing act. Yeah, you'll do accents, you'll do body movement, you'll do, and they take it very seriously. Shakespeare, all
Yeah.
kinds of shit.
They still shouldn't be our superheroes. You should be excluded from the pick. Thor was Australian. I guess he's supposed to be Norse, but whatever.
Thor's great though. Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind them casting because
When
they're
Superman-
superior.
Superman?
They're superior. Superman. I mean, it's a little weird, but I don't hate the new Superman.
I mean, that's like if an American was played James Bond or Sherlock Holmes.
That'd be funny.
That would be awesome. That's how we're gonna get revenge.
An American Sherlock Holmes.
An American Sherlock Holmes. That we're gonna get
Please.
revenge, and it's gonna be Kevin Costner, and he just won't even try to do the accent.
Kevin Costner. Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
as Bond or
as
something.
James Bond.
Please.
Elementary, my dear.
Jessica said the Brits graduate high school at 16 too. Right, so they can go right into that training when they're still kids.
Right? Yeah, this guy said Rick Grimes. By the way, what's that guy's name? Something England. I can't remember his name. The guy who plays Rick Grimes.
Oh yeah, I don't remember his name.
When he first spoke, and I heard his like dainty British accent, it was so disappointing. It was just like he sounded like an anorexic butler when he was like, yeah, I'm Rick Grimes, blah, blah. And then I was like, and by the way, after that, I was out. And you're like,
God.
oh God, no.
Now, Andrew Lincoln, I think is
Yeah,
his
there
name.
you go.
But you can hear the accent sometimes. Stay back, Coral.
Coral. It was just like so sad.
Oh.
Yeah, like half that cast is British.
Okay. So something interesting happened. There isn't much to say about it other than good. But there was a guy from North Carolina, and he got on Twitter, and he contacted this candidate for state senate in Virginia, and this candidate, Qasim Rashid, I hope I'm saying his name right, but is a Muslim, and so this guy sent this candidate a picture of someone being lynched, and basically implied that this guy was going to be next, and essentially threatened him on Twitter. Now, why this made the news is that charges were filed against this guy who was more or less trolling or threatening, depending on how you look at it.
That's a death threat.
No, I know it is, but usually these things don't get looked into, and no one gets in trouble. And this guy is going to get in trouble for it.
Good.
So it's as I said, there's not much to say about this, but it's a sort of shift from this world that we live in now, which is like, yeah, everyone says everything online and gets away with it, to, wait a minute, there is some accountability if you take it too far.
Digital accountability. Well, why? I mean, we just had this conversation. Why didn't that tweet get deleted?
It may have.
Oh, and they...
And he may have screen capped it or whatever, but I think even going beyond like, hey, let's take this tweet down, they're like, let's file some charges.
And was it you said it was a senator?
Yeah, it was a state senator who got threatened.
Did he press charges? Was it like, did he, like, he saw the tweet and was like, let's bring this guy in?
I think so. I think
Good
that
for
was
him.
the case.
That's craziness, man. Like, you can't, that's just the same as knocking on somebody's door and dropping off an envelope with a death threat in it. You know? It's the same shit.
Yeah. Can't make people feel unsafe.
I think that, like most things, some people will will have to pay large penalties for stupid actions and set examples for the rest of society. That's kind of how it happens.
Yeah.
And especially when you're making this giant of a shift between essentially being invisible to no, what you say online, you're gonna be responsible for that.
Yeah.
You know? Well, because there's that one woman who they're in court, trying her for convincing the kid to commit suicide.
Yeah, I don't know the details of that case, but I remember hearing about it.
And it was just, manipulation and constant texting and constant tweeting and Facebook messages and stuff. And it's all on record, and that's manipulation. It's the same as like whispering in somebody's ear, So good. Like, that guy should get whatever you get for that. Bring him down.
Yeah, I think that should happen more often.
And yeah, they should be public about that too. Like, let everybody know on Twitter, we're not going to stand for this.
Yeah. No, I mean, it made the news, so it's clearly.
I'm just confused because according to what we were just talking about, that tweet should have never made it to see the light of day. So that senator never should have even seen that.
Well, these tweets go up for a period of time until they get reported.
Oh, so it's like a flagging thing.
Yeah. It's like a flagging thing, and then, a human will monitor it and they'll take it down. So I'm sure the guy probably got suspended, but not before they took, screen cap of it and got record of it.
Sure.
And then went after the guy.
And they have all your information. Like, what are you doing? Like, how dumb do you have to be?
The guy's probably gotten away with it for years. The guy's probably been doing that shit for years.
And like a false account, or like thinks he's hiding behind some sort of...
Well, he's probably just threatened people online for years or said really shitty things.
Yeah.
And he's probably been doing it forever, and now it's finally like, wait a minute, you can't do that.
Well, we're hearing stories over that. There was that last week we talked about the kid who didn't get into Harvard anymore. He got pulled because they found some messages that he shared on Facebook or had some conversation.
There were private messages, yeah.
You just can't... It's like publishing something in the back end of a newspaper, Like, what are those? What do they call those? The shit. The back of the
classified ads?
Yeah, it's like publishing something in the classified ads and be like, would you publish a death threat in the classifieds with your name on it?
Yeah.
Are you stupid? What's wrong with you? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about both of those cases is that neither of them have the joke defense that people lean on quite a bit,
Right.
and is a valid defense of like, hey man, this is just an edgy joke that like that like remember James Gunn, the director, the Guardians of the Galaxy director. I mean, he had the joke defense. He was like, look, man, I was telling really bad jokes 8 years ago,
Yeah.
so he had that on his side, and these people don't.
Yeah. And I deleted them and I apologized for them.
Right.
Because I understood and took responsibility for that being stupid and
Yes.
impacting people in a bad way. This guy, I don't think that's going to happen. I wonder yeah, just like you said, I bet you his feed is filled with that type of stuff.
Yeah.
To everybody, Barack Obama and anybody who just doesn't look like him, I'm sure.
It's probably doing that on Facebook and all kinds of stuff. Well, that's all the stories I got,
That's all
sir.
the time we got. We didn't have any callers today, but if you guys ever have any questions that you want to ask us or want some advice that we can give you about life or economics or social mediaisms,
Specifically economics. Yeah.
economics, yeah, the early 1820s
Right.
economics. You could give us a call and leave a message with your name and your question. The number
Is 321-222-3179.
one more time.
321-222-3179. Leave your name, your first name, your age, and a short message, and we will look into your call.
Yeah. We couple more weeks and then Katie will be back joining us in the comments and be able to respond to you a little bit more if you guys haven't been there hearing anybody talk back to you. It's because she's on a vacation right now, so
Yep.
she'll be back soon. But outside of that, thanks for joining us. If you haven't subscribed to us yet, please do and share it and follow us on Instagram. We got our little handles down there. What else?
That's it. Instagram's down today. It's being a little bitch.
Instagram's being a bitch.
Let's go into the chat, man.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Somebody totally pointed out that Sherlock Holmes was American. Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I forgot about that too.
But good. It's sweet revenge. Oh, oi, crikey. That was a good one.
Oh, yeah. It immediately got hot in here.
Yeah, the fan does help though. We can leave that fan on. Does it? Can you guys hear the fan? Does it make any noise? Does it bug you? I don't think it does.
Nah, I don't think I can hear the fan. There's no way. I can barely hear the fan.
What's that number again, Irving?
321-222-3179.
Can you type that in the thing there? Is that possible?
It's gonna make all kinds of sound
that'll be
effect
a
noises.
problem.
Yeah, it'll be down in the description.
Yeah. Good to have you guys here today. What's everybody doing?
Sup? Yeah.
Trucking. What up, Beard Brad?
Truck and represent, trucker gang.
Where do you guys listen? In your car on the phone as you're driving?
Through the CB.
That would be amazing.
That'd be cool.
Like you must have Wi-Fi in your truck. Also dope.
I bet that's a thing.
Yeah.
It's got to be a thing.
Yeah. Usually the Wi-Fi in cars isn't as good as just the data though. But who knows? Oh, there's the number.
Yeah. Let's show that.
Is it right?
Show. Yeah.
Why
yeah,
do they?
People are already doing the number.
This show is. Oh boy.
321-222-3179.
There you go.
Got it. Oh, Bear Brad listens to it on his phone.
Oh, okay. Cool. Just streams it on the phone live.
That's what it sounds like.
All right.
Playing Fallout 4. I don't know.
Fallout?
Play games.
Is that a shooter game?
I don't know.
I have a couple Xbox gift certificates that I got for Christmas that have just been sitting on my table. I'm like, what should I buy? Like, what game? I have Red Dead Redemption. I was playing that for a while. Kind of got bored. The same thing happens to me every time. I'll play a game for a couple weeks and then I'll just stop. And then the next time I play my Xbox, I'll have to update it for 2 hours.
Yeah, right.
A year. What's a good game that I can play?
Yeah,
I usually.
Yeah, maybe these guys will know.
Yeah, maybe.
And I find that games are sort of all over the place.
How can I get advice, but I'm from the UK? I think you can just call that number.
Just call the number.
Call it from WhatsApp or something. You listen on your tablets?
More than one tablet?
Techno Studios. Are you a studio techno? What do you do? You play
Aspiring.
Madden?
But yeah, see, I think games are all over the place. Like,
Yeah.
some people recommend Madden. Some people recommend, like, a role-playing game.
Yeah.
Uh,
I like the walkthrough story games. Like, my favorite game was The Last of Us. It was like a creepy... There was, like, some level of open play, but not just open so that it never ended.
yeah.
There was some level of, like, if you do this well enough, you get a little bonus, but also if you don't, no big deal. Breath of the Wild is amazing.
Breath of the. I've heard of Breath of the Wild. Yeah, that's the Legend or the Legend of Zelda thing.
I'm so surprised how much girls play video games, and not to sound like old fashioned or whatever, but like I always thought of that as a dude thing. But
Video games?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I think now everyone plays games. Games are. I mean, games. People enjoy it.
Yeah.
How could girls not play games?
and there's also the thing that I realized at the gaming convention I went to was I play games alone, and that's not how most people enjoy games now. They
Right. They do it socially.
socially, and I know I want to do that, but most of the games that I play, I'm just getting murdered.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played socially.
Yeah,
I don't play all that often.
The Last of Us was the best. Yeah, The Last of Us was my favorite video game ever. I've never been emotionally invested in a video game until The Last of Us. It was an unbelievable game.
That was a zombie game, right?
Yeah, like post-apocalyptic game. Yeah, sort of. Yep. And I think they came up with a second one, but it was a PlayStation game, so I got Xbox, and now I can't play it.
Ah, I hate it when they do that.
Girl gamer, Icky Vicky, oh hell yeah. Yeah, I know there are a lot of girl gamers. Totally.
I think Twitch is full of them.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Like with the cleavage and the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the rise of Twitch would suggest that there's a lot of people
Yeah.
who play, which is funny because if you talk to people out in the world, you don't. I don't know. It doesn't feel like millions upon millions of people are playing these games. You see what I'm
it's
saying?
just large pockets globally.
Right. That's what because okay. So if you have like we were talking about Spider-Man earlier. You're talking about Spider-Man. You can go around and you can ask people, "Hey, did you see the new Spider-Man? Did you hear Spider-Man?" And people like they've heard of it or they've seen it and they're talking about it, and that feels big. But when it comes to a video game, you don't get something that permeates culture like that often unless you're surrounded by gamers all the time.
Your culture and and it might be our generation too. These kids might be talking about that every day. Like when I went into when I was in high school and video games came out, we talked about that a lot. Like, yo, did you get the new Contra or did you get whatever? So probably and I think you and I aren't gamer people, so we don't talk about it. But I know a lot of people, even my age, you bring it up and all of a sudden they have like weeks worth of history that they've had. They just haven't been talking about it because they don't think that that's who you are.
Sure.
Like Christians.
Ha. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm still of the notion that like things permeate culture, and video games, it feels like they would, and they don't seem to.
Yeah.
Occasionally, one like remember Pokemon Go, like that
Yeah.
fucking that
Exploded.
everyone was talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So occasionally something will, but they don't tend to do it.
And I
It still
wonder if-
feels very niche.
I wonder if that's a marketing thing. Like video games have commercials and stuff, but I don't know if they do it in the same way. But Pokemon, I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo did and like made it a big deal. But
Maybe.
Pokemon Go was crazy.
That was huge, and then it was not.
Yeah. It just fell off.
Yeah.
That was craziness. Well, gotta get more into games. Like Christians. Yeah. Angry Birds. Yeah, I guess I was a pretty big Angry Birds fan.
Angry Birds was pretty big.
That
I would say.
ate up a bunch of hours of my
Like these,
life.
so it's mobile games. That's what it does. That's what permeates culture.
Something. Everybody's got a phone. VR chat looks fun. What's VR chat? Should we make our podcast a VR podcast?
Where they
Chat?
just put on the headphone and they put on their helmet, and the visual that they see is just their house, but they can hear us talking,
Or they're here.
or they're here.
We put on a camera and they tap into it and they can see a 360.
That'd actually be pretty interesting.
You get to see all the little intricacies of our behaviors, which who knows would be that interesting. Yeah.
All right, man. You ready to
Yeah.
do the thing? Get your 4th of July started?
Oh yeah, 4th of July. Have a very happy 4th of July, everybody. Go America. Enjoy yourselves, be safe, and we'll sign off here for now.
All right, guys. We love you.